Good
Good
morning.
morning, afternoon.
It's Saturday.
Wake up.
Wake up.
We're here.
We're here.
Anyway, I wanted to sleep in today, but
So did I. But you know what?
we have other things to do
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's our
I'll sleep in tomorrow. It is our day to sleep in tomorrow.
Today's good. Our girls are just like out of control
They're
today.
flipping out. Today's their birthday, and they're losing their minds. They can't even talk. Like one of them's like, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. She's like, they're just bouncing around the house. Like, it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
they're so happy today.
Last night they got to build tents.
Yeah, they did Fortnite Friday night.
Yeah.
And that's how Fortnite works in our house. They do forts on Fridays.
Yeah. So it's
Thomas, love the black outfits. I know we're mourning the weekend. No, you know what? Every single morning, I'm telling you, probably 95% of the time, Thomas, we have separate closets, weirdly. Anyway, so
I actually love it.
No, I love it, but most people don't have that. But it was a weird thing in our house. We moved in, we were like, separate closets. So anyway, we're getting dressed, and then we walk out, and we're matching. Like every morning, we're like, "Are we serious?" I'm pretty
sure she's doing it on purpose.
I'm not even seeing you.
You're copying me. Quit copying me.
But no. So yeah, we did the same thing this morning. I was like, and we're both even wearing black pants. We're just wearing all black.
Oh yeah. We are. I just realized that.
I know.
You really are copying me. I got dressed first.
Yeah.
I was the first one.
Oh, he says, I don't do birthdays. I do birth months. Okay. So I'm with you though, because we do birthday week. So all week we've been doing their birthday week. So
man, can you imagine?
But birth month doesn't sound bad either.
Yeah,
I love spoiling my kids. So, good morning, Monica.
Good morning.
It's Saturday. You don't have to go to work today. Give you little horns there.
Yeah.
So we're talking about laughter this week, as you know, and this has been my favorite devotional of all time.
I'm looking forward to today.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a really good day.
I mean, it's been. I can't even get the words out. This is how much I love this, because what's happened is I feel like this opened us up into like another level of how we do our devotionals. It was so much fun. And I was like, you know what? We need to have, I think, more fun, because this is how we normally are. We're just like, but heart disease is heavy.
Yeah. I think we just need to be more serious.
Do we need to be more somber, you guys?
We're wearing black, like Thomas said.
It's called balance, babe. When the clown wears black, it's balance. It's dark humor.
Okay. I see what you did there.
I see. All right. Yes, no work, she says. All right, cool. So first things first, a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to talk about our links that you need to be aware of. Okay, I was trying to bring it up. I'm like, if you're in our heart disease support group, our private group, and actually this will be the last day that we're going to do this, but because it's just so many extra steps for no reason. But we've been streaming live into our heart disease support group. It's a private Facebook group. And so because of that, the way Facebook works, you have to click the StreamYard link if you're watching from inside the group, because otherwise we can't see your comments or your name when you comment. So we want to interact with you and know who you are when you comment. So click that StreamYard link if you're watching inside that private group. Next week, starting on our next devotional, we'll just be linking our YouTube link inside the group. So you don't have to click that extra like StreamYard link and connect your name and everything to our broadcast. Just watch us on YouTube or on our public Facebook profiles, because we put it on our Facebook pages, our profiles as well. So, there's plenty of places to watch it. There's no reason for you to have to, go an extra step or whatever. Also, though, in the description as well, there's a YouVersion Bible app link to the devotional that we always have up. It's always to the devotional we happen to be doing that week in particular. So it'll take you right to the devotional we're doing. And it will help you to download the YouVersion Bible app if you haven't already, or if you want to just go to the desktop version, you don't have to download an app. It'll just take you directly to the devotional and you can follow along.
All right. And if you are new to our broadcast, my name is Javie, and this is my wife,
Jessica.
and we are with Underdog Ninja. Here at Underdog Ninja, I can't get my words out this morning.
We're
Sorry.
at Underdog Ninja.
We believe in three things, and that is faith, character, and action. We talk about this all the time. This is our standard. This is what we move our life forward with, is faith, character, and action. We start here every Tuesday through Saturday morning, Pacific Coast time, doing these devotionals live with you, and just hearing what God has to say in our life when it comes to fighting heart disease or life struggles. Life continues to throw a lot at us, even though we're fighting a deadly disease or we're trying to prevent this disease. We get lost in the daily, funk, and we need to know exactly where we are with God, and we need to really know where we are with our faith. Sometimes some of us that are fighting this disease, we lose our faith, we lose our way, and so we're here trying to light that way.
And it's not a good kind of funk, because there's a good kind of funk, and it's not that. I'm talking about music.
Anyway, and one of the other things I wanted to mention too. So anyway, first of all, welcome if you're just joining us. Welcome those that have been faithful and always tuning in. We really
appreciate you guys, for sure.
But you're mentioning a little bit of the change, and I don't know if you guys have been seeing, we've been pushing out little changes here and there. We're always looking to improve. We're always looking to do new things. So we appreciate the feedback you guys have been giving us. Keep it coming. And we have some things in the pipeline. You'll start seeing that we're going to be incorporating. We don't like to just do everything at once. We want to test things and make sure it adds value, that it brings also brings entertainment, makes it easier for you to watch, and it brings, like I said, brings that value. So we're trying new things, and so we're going to be introducing some stuff here in the next in the weeks and months
pretty soon.
Come,
pretty soon. Yeah, we have a lot of things coming up, and it's going to be fun, I think. All right, you ready to get started? Was that it? Are you done?
I'm done for now. Let's get going.
I love you. Okay. It is day 5, people. Laughter, the real fountain of youth. This whole time, it's been laughter. Okay, one look at our 24-hour news programs, and it's easy to see that the world needs to laugh a whole lot more.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, can we just give a round of applause to how much the world needs to laugh right now, please? John 14:27. Too many people today are living on the edge, wound too tightly, and ready to snap over the slightest disagreement. That's true. They're intense, short-fused, depressed, and fearful. Even though medical science has proven that there are clear benefits to a healthy sense of humor, they seem to think they're too busy, too sophisticated, too serious, or too holy, we'll talk about that in a minute, to let loose and have a good belly laugh. Oh, that's a good one. When God created Adam and Eve, he gave them the equipment to laugh. Laughter wasn't an add-on after the fall. The muscles we need to laugh and the brain cells we need to understand a laugh were part of the original design. God knew that laughter would be a healthy thing for us to do, both when life is going well for us and when it's not. And that original equipment was built to last a lifetime. So why have so many of us allowed our laugh muscles to rust in place? When you think about it, having a flexible, go with the flow, it's not the end of the world, we're going to laugh about this someday approach to life makes the whole journey more bearable, doesn't it? It's like a road trip where everything can possibly go wrong, does go wrong. Now, we can be miserable, which usually compounds all of the problems, or we can laugh about the whole situation. There really is something very funny about days like these when you get to a point where you have to just surrender to the craziness and sit down and have a good laugh. It's what good comedy films are all about. One mishap is funny, 2 are funnier, and the whole string of them will have you rolling in the aisle. I love hearing a baby laugh. It's hearty, real, uninhibited, and contagious. So is the laughter of someone who's just been given a new chance at life. Those who have just received word that their cancer is in remission, or they just got released from jail, or the diagnosis they feared didn't come, or an unexpected check arrives in the mail. People who have gone through some tough times often have a loud laugh. They're happy and they do not care who knows about it. Laughter releases us from the unhealthy thinking that life has to be or is supposed to be perfect. Newsflash, it's not. Laughter is realizing so much about life is out of our control. It validates the fact that no matter what our circumstances happen to be, this too shall pass, and it is camaraderie in the knowledge that others have faced similar days. When everything went wrong and life got tough, that reminds us that we will somehow get through them. Proverbs 31:25. Oh my gosh, this is going to be good today. John 14:27 says, I am leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart, and the peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. Proverbs 31:25 says, she is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. She laughs without fear of the future. That's good stuff.
Not a worry in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Because worry will kill you.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back and talk a little bit about the idea that there's a lot of reasons why people don't just really let go. I don't know what that's about. Because it says people think they're too holy. That's a real thing. People think, well, we're somber, it's something sovereign. I mean, there's so much humor in the Bible. There's so much humor in our walk with God.
Yeah.
God's funny. He does stuff where we can see him being cheeky, a wink, and it's something clever, or it's something kind of ironic, and we're like, oh, you're funny. But also just the laughter that he gave us. My goodness, how many things. I mean, I love the part where she's talking about oh gosh, let me take it back up here. We're having some weird, guys, all your comments are coming up blank, and I'm not entirely sure why. So we're checking it out right now.
So
it's
sorry.
It's just showing nothing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
No, I just didn't want, you're just hanging out over there by yourself.
Yeah, I know.
So the part, I wanted to bring this back up. Let me go back and find this here. Hang on. The part where she's talking about, where you have to just decide that at one point or another, it's just crazy. Life is just crazy. And when all these mishaps continue to happen, it just gets funnier and funnier. That's what I was talking about the other day. So think about these movies that we watch. Why do we love the movies where everything goes wrong?
Right.
Why is it so funny when it happens to someone else, but when it happens to us, it's not? Is because we're the ones going through the pain. But if we could put our pain aside, if we could ever just put our pain aside for a minute and see a situation for what it is. I mean, even as a child, we have that same mentality where it's like, it's funny if it's someone else, but if it's us, it's not funny. Don't laugh at me. It's not funny. But it is funny. That's why we our kids will do something, and they're like, it's not funny. Don't laugh. Meanwhile, when it's their sister or brother, they're dying. And they're rolling, because it's the same exact. And we're like, you just laughed when she did it. And they're like, it's just different. It's not different. And as adults, we do that. It's not different. We just happen to be the one that is involved. But when we watch these movies and all this stuff goes wrong, I mean, it's hysterical. We're like, how ridiculous is this? And the reason why it's funny is because we know that stuff happens. I mean, there are movies that are extreme where it's not the normal. I mean, it's really going over the top just to be funny. But I mean, why are we laughing so hard? Mm-hmm. If it happens in real life, you know what I mean? Then it wouldn't be funny to us, we would think, but that's the kind of thing you have to stop and just think, is this something that I can laugh at or no?
Yeah. Anyway, so
sorry, we're having some technical stuff, so we're a little distracted, but I'm fixing it.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, you go ahead.
Let's just ignore all that.
Yeah.
Guys, normally we would bring up your comments, and for some reason, I think Facebook is
being Facebook.
Yeah. So we will try to address your comments. I'm hoping that here in a second that it'll clear itself up. But anyway, I want to just move on because this is just a distraction.
Yeah, go ahead. I got it.
But you're talking about, well, what I was thinking when you were talking was different types of comedy. When we watch certain things, what is that type of comedy that you watch or you listen to, or something that's funny that really gets you? We've been kind of hinting towards that all week. What is that one thing that you just absolutely love? One of the things I wish would do it, it would be, we would see more of. You don't see too many slapstick type
Oh man.
comedians
Yeah.
anymore, right?
And they're so good.
I think really the last good person with slapstick was Jim Carrey.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Right?
Who doesn't love Jim Carrey?
I mean, Jim Carrey,
because he's so animated.
His whole body was animated, right?
Yeah.
So, but Jim Carrey, I think he was really the last slapstick,
like really, truly, like famous.
Yeah. John Ritter was back in the day of like Three's Company and stuff like that.
Three's Company.
Gosh,
You're dating yourself a little bit, babe.
I am.
Yeah.
Anyway, but what is it? I mean, those things were just, especially like Jim Carrey movies. I mean, it just some ridiculous things that would happen, and how he would respond. It was just so funny. Those movies were amazing. But look, we're talking about laughter this week, and we're talking about, what is it that's going to help you lower that stress? What's going to help you refocus and to ingest it? Yesterday we brought up how we need to be above the trees. We need to be above the dense, dark forest.
Right. Yeah. You're talking about The Hobbit.
Yeah. And we need to just take in that breath of fresh air. Laughter is that. And when we do that, it feeds our soul. It's a salve over our wounds. And why do we put salve over our wounds? Because it takes away the pain. It allows and actually contributes to healing. So the opposite of that, when we don't have that salve, when we just feed the wound, we just feed the disease with stress and worry and all these negative emotions, you don't allow for healing, not full, complete healing. Sometimes you think you're healed, right? You think you've gotten past it, but really you've just covered it up, and it's just been scarred up, and it allows for it affects other parts of your life.
Right. Exactly.
And if you guys ever, and I've talked about this last week, if you ever had a scar that just healed wrong, right? The scar tissue just grows on top of one another, and the cross fibers are tight.
Right. And it's like layering.
And so it inhibits the muscle. It could inhibit the joint. If it does that, then the joint degrades, the muscles around it degrade. Then it could affect other parts of your body.
Yep.
It's the same way when you think about our spirit.
Yes.
When you think about our emotions and how we deal with life. If we just shove it down, if we continue just to shove down that stress, shove down the negative emotions, rather than dealing with it, rather than moving forward, those negative emotions will have an effect on your life, and it's not going to be positive.
Right.
It's not and it's going to contribute to your disease. And I can say that with confidence, because it's going to raise your stress level. It's going to inhibit your ability to exercise, to even want to exercise, to even to want to eat. You will concede to the disease. You will concede to your bad habits. And simple laughter, just that one, being 1% better, just that step. Yesterday we were talking about just stepping out that door and allowing laughter, allowing joy to lead you. Joy, love, happiness, to lead you, to look at things a little bit more positively. Taking in that fresh air of joy will help you to see things a little bit more clear.
Yeah, it's that clear. It's exactly right. It takes that filter off of whatever you happen to be going through. So like, that's what I was saying a minute ago, that filter of our own, it's our pain is our filter, right? So whatever we're going through, the pain is filtering the actual perspective. So whatever it happens to be, think about that. If you could put your pain aside for a minute and look at it objectively from maybe like an outside view, like you would a movie, like what if this was happening to somebody else and it's so absurd? Now, I'm not talking about like serious tragedy and being like, oh, if this was a movie, I'd be cracking up. No, I mean, not everything, obviously, but I'm just talking about the day-to-day, the stuff that's just ridiculous. It throws us over the edge, all of the absurd and ridiculous things that happen in our lives that just continue to compound and where we're just like, everything's going wrong. But think about it, in one day, when everything goes wrong in one day, there are days where I'm like, is this real? Is this, how many things today? Is this, am I in a movie? Is someone, what do we always say? Am I being punked?
That's right.
Like, think about the people, I don't know if you guys remember that show with Ashton Kutcher, but this is a whole thing. I mean, talk about making one show and then it's a term people use. Am I being punked? And it was a show where they would like punk their friends where everything in their day would go wrong. I mean, it would be like, this isn't, something's fishy. Like, there's no way everything's going wrong with this. But there's days where we feel like, that's why we ask that question. Am I being punked?
Yeah, I feel like that when all the technology in the house goes.
Oh, that happens all the time.
It seems like there's this cloud over the house that everything's going wrong. Kind of like today.
Yeah.
Not everything's going wrong, but you know, some of our, you know, sometimes it starts like with this. Our comments won't come up or something like that. And then we have a computer virus or and then
our network won't you know, then our internet's down
and then our computers start to smoke or stuff like that.
Yeah, but then it'll be, we've had days where all of our electronics will do weird stuff that's not even related.
Yeah.
Like there's some sort of a like electromagnetic pulse outside our house. Like somebody's like messing with us.
We've had electronics go out all like at once, you know,
like our microwave included.
That day we're spending like $1,000 to replace everything or more,
and we're just like, what just happened? Like, and then but things like your watch will mess up.
Yeah, Brace Thomas is coming up. We finally see it's
spiritual warfare with the tech.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I know we're like in front of our computer.
Yeah,
but it's so true because that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I understand like if there's a death of a family member or something, like, I mean, really, you got to go through it. Like, I'm not talking about laughing through the whole thing. I mean, yeah, when we have to deal with like medical stuff and heart disease and things, and we cope with humor, we have jokes and stuff like that. But really, like this talked about, really letting a belly laugh out at the end of the day and going, this day was crazy.
Yeah.
What is my life today? What is it like? Am I being punked? And that's what I'm talking about, is lightening up a freaking little bit.
Yeah.
This getting your head out of the pain and being like, all right, I just need to laugh this off and be like, tomorrow's a new day, you know?
Yeah.
And because I think most of the time it's that stuff. Most of the time, we're not talking about laughing through tragedy. We're talking about laughing through the compound effect of all the little stupid things we can't stand, all the things that we feel like nothing's going right. And the enemy gets into those things faster than the big stuff. The big stuff's easier because it's kind of like, not easier for us, but I mean, easier for him to get into because, it's like, well, it's bad. And so he's like, everything is going wrong. Well, because you're just kind of like in so much pain, you can't see out of it, because it is. And it's normal for you to be in that much pain. But the daily stuff, he gets into that because he can have more lies in there. He can kind of like, and this, and see, and this, and see, it continues to be wrong. It continues to well, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So look, for a second, just for a little bit, I would like to just veer into something you touched on.
Okay.
Tragedy. Okay.
We talked about this yesterday too.
Right, because this is real. So dealing with a loved one's or someone close to you, premature death, that is tragic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heartbreaking. Believe me, I understand that.
Yeah.
But what happens, most often, we get caught up in the tragedy. And we actually, by not honoring that person, we try to honor the person with the tragedy. Unfortunately, we allow the tragedy to cloud the honor, the ability to honor that person,
or the celebration of their life.
Celebration of their life. I really respect those people and the ability for them to stand back and really just honor the person that they lost. That is the to me, is the best, most healthy way to mourn. It
Mhm.
is heartbreaking. It is sad, but some of us just stay there, and it's all about that. So it becomes less about the person and more about the tragedy. It becomes
Yes,
less
okay.
less
Yes, that's
about the
good.
person and more about how we're dealing with things.
Right.
Right? And rather than in that moment giving honor to the person that we have lost. You know,
Yeah. And
recently, my oldest daughter lost somebody that was close to her, very close to her, and she's she really went through it. But I think one of the healthy things is, she did something for him that was honorable, and she went out of her way and made sure that these certain things were given to him at his service. And look, this affected her quite a bit, and she's still going through effects of it.
Mhm.
But she was able to step out of that for a moment and focus on honoring the person. Sometimes we get caught up in our pain and we forget about the important things. And I just want to point that out because
Mhm.
think about those, those people that have lost people, lost kids,
Yeah.
okay?
Mm.
Yet they can laugh in a way that shares the joy that that person meant to them.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I just think that's forgotten. I just think that's lost. So when you're dealing with tragedy, when you're dealing with, maybe your tragedy is heart disease, maybe your tragedy is cancer, your cancer diagnosis, or cancer diagnosis of a loved one,
Mhm.
you know, and they're still here. You're still here. If you get focused on the disease, you let the circumstances dictate your present and your future. Um, that's where I'm talking about the the negative in these negative things uh, taking away our ability to enjoy life. It's ripping us off. This is exactly what the enemy is wanting. This is what death brings.
Mhm.
Okay, not life. Remember, God brings life. And how does he do that? He does that in the present and in the future. He brings that in this life and the next life.
Yeah.
And how do we do that? We do that by embracing joy. We do that by embracing love, and really seeing the things around us and how people
Mhm.
impact us and how we could impact others.
Mhm.
We really need to kind of step out of ourselves sometimes, even with us that are fighting
Well, that's
disease.
the thing is you say in the next life, um, this isn't just for on earth. When we go to heaven and we are with God in eternity, I don't think that everything is just going to be one. I mean, we probably don't know how everything's going to necessarily be specifically. I mean, obviously the Bible talks about it, but I mean, we really don't know.
Right.
But I find it very hard to believe that we won't have joy,
No.
in
It will
eternity,
be, yeah, it'll
and
be.
laughter,
Mhm.
and all of the things that are without sin, right? And so, I mean, this is really part of our permanent identity. And I think I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm thinking, it really comes down to one thing. All the things we've talked about all week are great. And they're great points about laughter, how it is the best medicine. They're great points about all of the ways that we can incorporate laughter, all the ways that the practical ways that we can go get, a laugh and find a laugh and kind of get into that mode. And that it's good for our health, our endorphins, and our actual physical, our physicality, physiology, excuse me. And it's great for our health. But one of the main reasons why laughter is so powerful is what I was just talking about, is getting the pain out of your way. Most of the time, our decisions are clouded by pain. Sometimes they're driven by pain. Sometimes they're motivated by that, and that's great. But most of the time, they're clouded by pain. We don't make the right decisions. We don't make logical and sound decisions. We don't make faithful decisions. We don't listen to God. We don't understand what he's saying. We don't hear him. We don't feel close to God. All these things happen because of pain: mental, physical, emotional, spiritual pain, right? Laughter is immediate pain relief when it comes to perspective. I don't mean that you go laugh and all of a sudden all your physical pain will go away. It may be over time, maybe sometimes, but that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when we're making decisions and we're living our life and we're trying to look at like where we're pointing our ship and which way are we taking our life, which direction are we headed, who are we as a person, who do we want to be, right? How do we handle life? How are we in relationships? What kind of person what's our character?
Mm-hmm.
When we make decisions and we're focusing on all that stuff, pain can really cloud that and it can really misdirect us. And when we're laughing and we're in that frame of mind where we're finding something that lifts us outside those trees, like you were talking about yesterday, I keep seeing that. It's such a great analogy because it's like, oh, breath of fresh air. Okay, what's really happening around me? That like while I'm not shrouded in my pain, like, oh, okay, this is what I should be doing. The laughter brings you out of that. Just if it's just a physical reaction that takes your mind out of this cloud, and you can now just make a sound decision. You can now just laugh at what's happening during that day. You can now just understand that there is hope. I just had a crappy day. Or understand what I should do in this situation with mourning, as I should be honoring the person, or should whatever it is that it happens to be. Mm-hmm. If you can remove the pain for a moment and get a clear view and get a breath of fresh air and get your mind right and get your pain out of the way for a second, mm-hmm. you could see clearly and you could move forward much more quickly and efficiently and effectively because you're not taking 10 extra years to do things because you're like, I'm shrouded in pain and I can't quite understand what I'm doing. And we've been there. I mean, oh my gosh, I've had years of my life where it just like, how long does it take me to get anywhere? Because I'm not getting out of my pain. I'm totally focused on that. And I'm not focused in myself, and I'm not focused on what I should be doing and what makes sense. And I'm not focused on God. And the enemy wants to increase our pain, both physically and mentally, to get us out of looking to God.
Right. So when we get caught up in our pain, we allow our disease, our pain to dictate our lives. We do exactly what I was pointing to yesterday. Was we start to withdraw. We start to become disinterested in relationships. We start to become disinterested in life. We don't want to even get up out of bed. Mm-hmm. Because why? Because we're going to be in pain. I have to face this pain again. Mm-hmm. And
that's why people turn to drinking and things like that.
And then it seems like, oh, it's just getting worse and worse. So we withdraw more and more. Look, this happened to me. And I see this happen to many, many other people that are fighting this disease and fighting other diseases. Mm-hmm. They withdraw, they give up, and they don't mean to. Right. It's just that they think, the enemy has us to think that's our only choice now, is to just concede to the disease. It's over. And keep in mind, this was early on in my journey, that I was being told that it was over by the enemy, by people around me, and then by my own thoughts. Okay. And I withdrew from people. I isolated myself. Some friends legitimately just left. Those relationships broke apart. But there were others that I purposely just distanced myself from. And then I didn't engage anyone else. And, at the time, we weren't dating. We're just friends. And this person here just basically told me to snap out of it.
And
to get my rear out there. And to do, if I wanted something to change, I needed to do something about it. And so, we've always been good friends, and she's always talked to me very frankly, very upfront. And so that day, that's what she did. And she goes, look, I'm not going to talk to you for a while, because probably I was a downer. But
no, that's not why.
I know. But no, we knew she wasn't going to talk to me for a while. But she goes, I want to know that you're going to do this. And she kind of just made me be kind of accountable to her. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to let her down. And I knew she was right. And so that was that one thing I'll never forget, because that led me to take that 1 foot out the door and doing that one thing, doing reaching out to other people.
And you did, and
I
it was
did.
amazing.
Yeah. Because when you
Yeah.
did call me, I was like, you wouldn't believe all the things that have
Yeah, I
happened.
had like a whole update. Yeah.
Right.
And it was just amazing because you really, really like were isolating yourself. Like
Yeah.
it was like major depression, like seriousness. And
I think that's what a lot of us do. And when we do that, the disease takes over. It takes over our mind,
mhm.
then it takes over the rest of the body. So if you find yourself there, you find yourself in that dark place and you don't want to reach out, you're isolating yourself, you've given up, I would encourage you to take that one step out the door.
Mhm.
Reach out to the people around you.
Right.
Reach out to people like us, a support group.
So before Facebook happened, this was before, like, well, I think Facebook was around, but it wasn't like Facebook is now. There was no groups or anything like that.
Yeah.
There was we had meetup groups.
Yeah.
So I don't know what meetup.com looks like now. I have no idea.
I don't either.
Who even knows?
Yeah.
I have no idea. But at the time, it was a lot of like really cool,
man.
like meetup groups where people would get together for hiking. They get together for picnics. They get together for rollerblading. They get together
It was
for
a great way-
gardening.
yeah, it was a great way to meet people, network.
Yeah, and you had like all these groups. You had like, I remember you had like a singles like outing group, which you loved, and then you had like a hiking group, which you loved.
Absolutely love
and
that
all these groups. And he was like, oh my gosh, I've been getting together with all these people, and I've been going out and like and just being like happier and more outgoing. And that was weird for him because I'm always the outgoing person, and he's just not. Well, he used to not be. Excuse me, he is now. But it was like really cool because he ended up making all these friends and just being able to, and getting exercise again and like all the things. And so it was really a cool thing. So now there are Facebook groups for this. So now if you're in a Facebook group, you could go and jump into, and here's the other thing about laughter. There's all kinds of things to connect with people on. So if you feel like, well, okay, what am I supposed to do? Just start watching funny movies? Like, yeah, okay. But what about connecting with people and getting joy and laughing about something? There are groups for everything. Get on Facebook and look for a group. Okay. So we have groups where we learn stuff. We have groups where we like business groups where we're looking for all of the, ideas. We have groups for some of the stuff that our daughters go through with like illnesses to look for, ideas and studies on like what we can try, natural groups or whatever, natural, medicine or whatever. There's all kinds of groups for that. There's groups for, we have these heart disease groups for information there, but there's also groups. There's nerdy groups that we're part of, like the Mandalorian group is the best group in the whole wide world.
Yeah, it is.
Because everybody wants to constantly share all their really funny, entertaining things that have to do with something nerdy that we all love, which is Star Wars and the Mandalorian. So it's show them your cup. And so there you go. So, there's also meetup groups where, there's a hiking group that we're part of. It's hard it's a Northwest hiking group, but it's hard because it's raining here so much that they don't have a lot of things going on, especially with COVID. Things have slowed down with that. But I digress. There are groups where you could get together with people, even if you get together virtually. I know a lot of people are getting together virtually during COVID for happy hour or a Friday night, get together with just
Yeah, but one of the things that one of our members just recently started, Annie Wright, she just started this doing walks on Zoom. So you could join her with your walk.
Mm-hmm.
Walk with Annie.
Yeah, walk with Annie.
And
it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and she does it 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Yeah.
And the link is in our private Facebook group. And you could just ask me for that link if you want to join the group. And in there, she's going to post the Zoom link, and you can jump in anytime. It's free.
Man,
she'll walk with you.
Talking about taking a step out your door. That's the best way to do it, right?
And you can do it anywhere. Find somewhere to walk, and she said you can just walk with us, or you can talk, or whatever you want to do. Hang out,
just share. What's great about that is sharing these different places where you are walking.
Yeah.
Where you're at.
Exactly.
Sharing that with one another and posting those pictures and being on this group call and just walking with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us, we want to get exercise, but we want someone with us. We want, when we don't have anyone that was willing to walk with us or
Right.
able to walk with us. So I think this is a brilliant idea. It's just getting together virtually, because we all are nowadays, and all across actually the world, around the world. Imagine that, connecting with people, walking.
Exactly. That'd be super cool.
That would be
and
amazing.
You can have as many people as you want on there. So
yeah,
I wanted to bring up what Thomas said. Pain is also growth. It's all perspective. Yeah, we talk about that a lot, and you know that, Thomas. But I want to make sure I comment on that, because pain is very powerful if we want it to work for us. By getting perspective, by laughing, and that's when our pain can work for us. So I want to actually, you make a great point, and I want to jump off on that. It isn't getting rid of our pain. We need to get outside of our pain in order to grow from it. The only way to grow from our pain and to make decisions during that pain and what we're going to use that pain for, how are we going to learn from that pain? How are we going to do this? What kind of, what's God doing with this pain? What am I supposed to do during this season? All the things that happen during pain that are good for us, that are growth for us, only happen if we can get on the outside of that perspective of just pain. Like we are actually getting on the outside of it, getting clarity. So everything we were just talking about is how we grow through pain. If you need to laugh, you need to get outside the ugly part of pain, the part where it shuts you down, and be like, make it productive pain, right? And the only way to do that is to get perspective, and that way can be laughter. That way can be laughter. That way can be inspiration. If you watch inspirational things like stories, if you are talking to friends and getting all of your feelings out, getting that space to feel those feelings and process it with a therapist, that's good too. And that, and in prayer, with God, these are things that we need to do in order for pain to be growth. Otherwise, pain is stagnation.
Right.
So, and then becomes more and more pain.
Just doing the things that brings you joy. Okay. And getting out like Annie's trying to do. And, and what she brings up, if you can't get out of your house, just still join her and do some simple exercises.
Yeah. Do some
It's
stretching.
Just about movement.
Yeah.
I mentioned yesterday a guest that CL had on his show, and this doctor was talking about 4 things. And she was talking about making sure we got plenty of water. Okay. But then her second pillar was movement. Okay. Movement, and then sleep, and then nutrition. All these things go together, but movement, because look, if we're not moving, we're dying.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
It'll feed your disease. It will degrade your muscles. It will degrade the body chemistry that you have going on. Your body will adjust to that stagnation, and it will stop feeding nutrients to certain parts of your body, your muscles. It'll try to, it doesn't see where this is going. It doesn't have anywhere to go.
Right.
And so it adjusts. So movement is very, very important.
Yeah. So, and it doesn't, I think sometimes we put a parameter on that, like, it has to be a certain type of movement, has to be a certain amount of movement, has to be a certain amount of days. Any movement's better than no movement. If you're like, I just don't know what to do, go for walks with Annie. Do some stretching in your living room. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Just do something besides just sitting. I mean, gosh, even without being non-movement oriented, it's like we are non-movement oriented. Like, we have to sit in front of our computer and do a lot of work. Some of us have office jobs. Some of us have, some of us drive for hours and commuting. There's a lot of non-movement that happens in our life that's not something in our control. This is something that has to do with our profession or, just our habits. But when you don't have to be sitting, then you should be up and moving, and don't go from sitting to sitting. And that's something a lot of us do. We're like, oh, we're so tired from sitting, I'm going to go sit down.
Well, and this is really important. I want to mention, though, too, some of us have jobs that we are moving, and we say, well, we are getting exercise. Yes. But we're still seeing problems in our body. We're still gaining weight. We're still having muscle pain. And then we concede to that pain. Well, I'm not going to go work out. I worked all day, or I think I get plenty of exercise. The thing is that may be true, but it's repetitive. It's the same movement.
Same movements.
Your body has adapted to that muscle movement, and you've neglected other parts of your body in doing that.
Think about
so
that.
Now you've developed muscle weaknesses.
Think about that though. So if you relate that to what we're talking about with laughter, spiritually and mentally and emotionally speaking, in the unseen things, that same patterning happens there.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you're in a pattern, you're like, I do think I'm pretty joyful. I think that I mean, I like to stay positive. But if there's still stuff that's not working, maybe you're just in the same thought patterns all the time. And you're like, I'm just chugging along.
Yeah.
But there's still stuff that's not working. You still have to do something different. Find something else that makes you laugh differently. Find new friends. Find a different type of thing to watch. Find a different book to read. Find a different way to consume humor. Find something else that's outside your normal patterns, whether it's physically or mentally or spiritually. Find a different way to study the word. Sometimes people are like, I read the Bible and I fall asleep or whatever. Do an audio Bible. Do these devotionals. Pray somewhere else. Pray out loud if you don't pray out loud. Pray with other people. Find a prayer group. You know what I mean? Like, find a study group, somewhere where you can do something outside your normal patterns. That will also break up the pain and break up the stagnation of your life and the ruts that you're in.
Yeah.
It will literally start breaking the ruts in your mind about the way that you've been operating so far.
If you ever, I'm sure you guys know this, you've seen this, especially like with celebrities, people that seem to be very funny. They on TV or on the big screen, they come across, they're great actors, or their characters always seem to be happy and lively and funny. Yet their personal life, they battle depression, or they even maybe commit suicide.
Robin Williams is a good example.
And he had a disease and stuff, but again, his habits early on in life may have contributed to that.
We don't know.
But the thing is, he also dealt with, because of now, Robin Williams is a great example, because you would think that guy just loved life and it was always cracking jokes, but he developed that because of his personal life. It was his coping mechanism, and very intelligent person, but that was his persona. This is his
persona. Yeah.
It was the mask that he put on. That mask became muscle memory. So all the things that we saw was just muscle memory. We just saw him putting on a character.
Right.
But who he was inside, really inside, he had a lot of things that he wasn't addressing, and led him to certain habits, bad habits in his life. And he struggled.
Yeah.
And so he had a personal life that wasn't all that. But when you see him on TV, you listen to him, you think, man, this guy.
Well, that guy has a lot of laughter in his life.
Right. It must be great to be around him. Yet, when you really see what's behind the curtain, and this is the case not just with Robin Williams, it's with a lot of people that aren't celebrities, those people that out of the blue you thought they were happy and then they're gone because they couldn't deal with life anymore.
Yeah.
You didn't realize that they were struggling
because they didn't actually process things, they covered them.
So what we're talking about is real. When we don't allow the joy in our life, when we put on this persona, what you were talking about, this muscle memory of this front that we're putting on, right? Because this is our coping mechanism. I think of somebody that has to maybe works at an amusement park. They always have to be full of joy, entertaining the kids and everything else. They show up to work and they flip a switch and they put on their character. But then they go home and they're just this miserable, lonely person.
Okay. Change your ringtone to a baby's laugh or change it to a goofy tone. Mine's don't worry, be happy. Oh, that's a good
great.
idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And that's what you're talking about. Breaking the pattern, in the middle of a stressful day.
Yeah.
And having that on your phone. But change it once in a while.
Yeah. I do that to my kids. Did you know that? You've heard me do that, right? That's a kind of a recent thing. I do that with Sophia. She'll be like doing something. And I'm like, I'm such a dork with my kids. And they cannot continue being upset because I'm like, and I'll do like in their face. And she's like, I'm not laughing.
So great.
She's trying not to laugh.
As they become teenagers.
Yeah.
I'm
like a walking pattern interrupt. That's basically like my goal in life. Like, you know what? Be that. If you don't just be like, make it impossible for people to like understand, like make it impossible for them to be what they're being in the moment. Just like they can't. We watched a movie or a show last night where it was a hockey show and these kids wanted to win this hockey game and they all closed their eyes at the same time in this movie. They were trying to win the game and there was only one play left. They all closed their eyes and then listened for the puck. But everybody else stopped too, because all the other players were like, why are you guys' eyes closed? What are we supposed to do? Like they stopped playing. Instead of taking advantage of them, they just all stood there and let them win because they didn't understand what to do. It was a pattern interrupt. They just all were like, why are you guys closing your eyes? And they didn't even play against their play. They just kind of like were like stunned. So I just kind of like, it's that pattern interrupt, just like I pattern interrupt my kids' moods. Like, I don't go, you can't be upset. Stop it right now. I just act like a complete idiot. I don't care. I have no shame in how much of an idiot I am. And in front of my kids, especially. And they know it. And so they love it. They'll give me a hard time. Mom, you're so weird. But it's their favorite. And they've said that.
But there was a point in your life though, because you've always been this person, but there was a point in your life that you didn't allow the fullness
of me.
Yeah, to come
out
in front of certain people. But now you don't really care.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a matter of growth and going through pain, but also when I finally when we were together, we have both grown exponentially in being able to be authentically ourselves since we've been together over the years. And I would say because of you, I've been completely open, just been allowed to be completely myself. So that's another thing. So I wanted to end with this, is that something about him is he doesn't think he has a good sense of humor. He's like, you're the funny one, babe. I'm not funny because I think he's hilarious because he's super funny, but he's never identified that way. And other people have never identified him that way because he wasn't that way before because he didn't think he was fun. He's like, that's not right. But being with me, he's completely allowed himself and I've allowed him, right? Allowed him. But I mean, I've never dampened that in you like other people did. And so you're just allowed to kind of explore your humor and just be funny and say the things you want to say, who cares what I say, what I sound like. And so when you're exploring this like new trajectory for yourself, when you're like, I want to be different. I want to be funnier, even if it's me just thinking things are funnier, even if I'm not trying to be a comedian with myself or other people. Maybe it's just a new outlook where I'm looking for the humor. Make sure, like I said before, make sure you're talking to people around you about this and be like, I don't want my life to look like this right now anymore. I want it to be funnier. I want it to be livelier. I want to be more joyful, chill out and lighten up, and be able to have a different perspective and help the people around you allow you to do that. Make sure that this is a conversation that you have because it makes all the difference. When you have people in your life that allow you to be whoever you are, whoever you need to be, whoever you want to be, it makes a huge difference in that freedom to be able to change and grow and move towards something new.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happened for us.
Yeah. One of the things she has taught me that, but sorry.
No, you're fine.
One of the things, I have 3 sisters, and my sister Monica, she's out of my 3 sisters. They're all older than me.
He had 3 extra moms, is what he's saying.
But Monica is always the one that has made me laugh the most.
She's the clown.
She's the one that is. She has. I can't tell you how many times in my life that she just made me genuinely belly laugh and just cry laughing. And so I
wasn't able to joke.
and
He's so funny. I know.
But I just absolutely love her sense of humor. But this is the thing. And I joked around with her the other night. We were joking around texting. We'll be joking around, and then she says something, and I'm like, you always go that extra step because
you always cross the line just a little bit.
But what I mean by that, because is that she sees humor in a different way, and she takes it. She talks about pattern interrupt. She takes the joke or what we're joking around about, and she takes it a different direction, and you don't expect it, and that's funny.
Yeah.
Most people don't get that.
Well, most people don't do that, and most people don't get that,
right?
And it throws them off, and they're like, "Okay."
Right.
Meanwhile, we're like dying.
It's real. It's a unique way of comedy. It's a unique way of joy.
Yeah.
And so, and I know, over time that the people haven't understood her, didn't understand that, and didn't, so she withdrew. Okay. But I would encourage you, if you're like her, or Monica, if you're listening to me, this is who you are. And I would encourage you to continue, just step into that.
Mm-hmm.
And if people don't understand, I'm not saying you never want to be offensive. I understand that, but don't allow other people, because they want to be sour and they want to be in their mood. Don't let them dampen who you are. Yep. This is something unique to you. Like I said, with all my siblings and everything, you stand out to be the funny one. Look, you and I have shared some very dark, funny moments with one another that we're the only ones laughing in the room. And so what? So what? They don't get it, because that feeds you. And it's these things that people around us, that they just want to stay in that dark spot.
And that's a really good example of, not just because you guys have this close relationship, but that's a good example of things like, because the world needs you, Monica, and anyone like her. Mm-hmm. The world needs you to be who you are, because we talked about this yesterday with The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Especially if you're the only one in the room laughing, then keep going, because nobody else is. Nobody else is the one lightening the mood. Nobody else is the one going after joy, regardless of what that looks like. No one else is doing that. They're all stuck in their stagnation. They're all stuck in a trance of depression, or just somber mood, or just busyness that steals our joy. And when you are the one sharing joy and breaking that pattern and interrupting that pattern of, hey, everybody, did we forget to live our lives for a minute? Hey, we should do that. And then you're like over there, trying to interrupt everyone's pattern a little bit and just trying to be crazy. That's a welcome. That should be a welcome thing, Mm-hmm. And it's, I'm sure there's time and place and whatever, and we're not talking about that. But it's just not letting that.
The more that you exercise that, the more that you'll get better.
Yeah.
And know how you operate, and then people will start understanding you a little bit better, and understanding that that you're just trying to make people laugh.
And the thing is the reason we bring that up is because the people watching that are like that need to know that that's maybe your calling in inviting and incorporating laughter into your journey, is to help others with their journey. And if you're not that person, then you're going to need those people, and you need to look to those people to invite laughter and joy into your life for your journey.
Yeah.
And building a community around laughter and lightening the mood, it really is our ultimate goal, because we know that it's got a gravitational pull, heart disease, and any disease really.
Yeah.
And it can pull you down. And we do want to inform you guys. We do want to teach people how to live with heart disease. We do want to share the devotionals where we're talking about what is God saying today in this. But I really feel like this week was really vital, that God is saying, I gave you this to bring back joy, to refocus your perspective, to refocus on me and what joy and hope lies in front of you, even in the midst of your pain. And then taking that in, especially in the midst of your pain, now how I can grow exponentially and really get to work on who I am. And this is such a powerful tool for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so we really want to make sure that we have a community that can laugh at ourselves and can be and lighten up and really find joy through this journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Monica just brought down some knowledge here. That's so true. Just put that up right there.
This one?
Yep. And then we'll go.
Every time you guys speak about the Hobbit, I look down at my feet because I got Hobbit feet.
Yep.
Hey, listen, it's a family trait.
Yep.
Everybody.
We're all hobbits.
We talk to our kids about how we're hobbits in our house because we're all really short. And I'm 4'9", by the way. I am a teeny tiny woman.
I'm a tall hobbit.
You are not. He's 5'3", so we're so adorable together, everybody says. And our kids are, I don't even know that our kids are really going to be that short, but they're still short because they're 10. So we'll go with it. And we always talk about, they go, we're hobbits. We are. And I said, well, we like second breakfast. And then my one daughter goes, well, that's all you had to say. She's like, if that means being a hobbit, I'll be one.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, all right, well, you guys, this has been an amazing week. I'm kind of sad that it's gone because this was like my favorite.
All right. So if you guys, I hope you guys got something out of this week's devotional. And if you guys didn't catch all the days that we did that, go back and watch those, because I think it really will help you get a better perspective. But if you guys did get something out, got some value out of today, value out of this week, please like and share this with your friends and your family. We'd really appreciate that.
That's right. And if you're watching from our YouTube channel, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, make sure you're following us on YouTube, because every time we post something new, we want you to get notified. And to get notified, make sure you hit that bell icon. That little bell will make sure that you're getting notified any which way you would like to get notified. And when we go live or when we post new content.
Yeah. And if you want us to see your comments, go on YouTube, because Facebook seems to be screwing things up.
Go comment on YouTube. That's right.
Yeah. But hey, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.
That's
Enjoy your weekend. Happy Mother's Day to every mother out there.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day tomorrow.
I hope you guys have a blessed day.
Talk to you soon.